It's live on Facebook.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us here on Chamber Leaders Mastermind. Once again, this segment, which we do every third Tuesday of the month, is the actual roundtable. It makes it gives everyone an opportunity to chime in and learn from each other. The first Tuesday of the month, we have a speaker that comes in and talks on a specific topic. This past two Tuesdays ago, I was on in interviewing the Mountain Lakes Chamber of Commerce. What was her? I can't remember her name. Chris, remember her name? Sarah Stoll. She was the Director of Communications. She was the Director of Communications for the Mountain Lakes Chamber of Commerce, and she was talking to me about the ways that she uses social media to promote their Chamber of Commerce and really bring attention and awareness to their part of the world. She had very specific techniques, and it was so funny when we were in the middle of our conversation. I learned that I had techniques that she didn't use, and she had techniques that I didn't use. So I will tell you one thing that I did learn from her, which is Twitter chat, which I will talk a little bit more about that. But in the meantime, the point of this roundtable is for chamber leaders. No one is an expert in every single topic, right? So chamber leaders, we get together and we're going to learn from each other, bounce ideas. Everyone has a different perspective, a different view, different success stories, maybe failures, and can give us some tips on how we can further succeed so that we can support, promote, and bring value to each other chamber leaders. So I want to say thank you to everyone that's joining us here today. And like I said, it's a roundtable, so I don't want to talk at you. I really want everyone to just have that synergy. That's our word, right, Rick? Synergy, so that we are all learning from each other. First, I want to say thank you again to Sarah Stoll from Mountain Lakes Chamber of Commerce, all the way in, is it Alabama?
It is Alabama, yeah.
Alabama. I want to say thank you to her because she sent me her social media marketing cookbook. So this is kind of like her little Bible that she uses in order for her to go through and learn how to use Twitter, Instagram, Facebook advertising, Pinterest, mobile search, online reviews, and dining apps. So this is her secret weapon right here. Anyone that's interested, I would say maybe pick this book up. She gifted this book to me to kind of give me some pointers on how to use it. And then at the Goshen Chamber of Commerce, I use a lot of Instagram, and we're very strong on Facebook. So I don't know if anyone wants to kick it off with some questions. Chris, if you want to maybe mention to the group that are joining us slowly, thank you so much, the point of Chamber Leaders Mastermind.
Well, absolutely. Chamber Leaders Mastermind was conceived on the premise that the leaders of chambers, executive directors, and the upper leaders of every chamber of commerce around the nation, not only here, but in Canada and other places in the world, you're pretty much out there on an island by yourself. You've got your community. You've certainly got a lot of support from your members, but as far as being able to talk to someone on an equal level or about problems or issues that you might have as a chamber leader, those avenues aren't quite that accessible. And I thought it would be great if everyone, or if many of the people, had an opportunity to share the ideas together, to get to know each other, regardless of whether you're in New York or you're in California, get to know each other well enough to have the open contact, actually a connection with another chamber. You never know when you might want to just call and ask a question, or maybe you've had an issue and you say, have you faced this issue before? So those are the kinds of reasons, or that is the reason basically, that the Chamber Leaders Mastermind was formed. And I hope everybody benefits from it immensely.
Thank you so much for that, Crystal. Like we mentioned, join us every first and third Tuesday of the month. The first Tuesday, we have a speaker. The third Tuesday is a forum, which we're doing today. And the topic that we're going to cover is social media. So I'm just going to kick it off with what the Goshen Chamber of Commerce does for utilizing this powerful tool that still happens to be free. and don't know how long that's going to be, so take advantage of it now. We use Facebook Live. Facebook is a way for us to continuously put out information to our members. Now, keep in mind that the Goshen Chamber of Commerce, we don't only utilize Facebook. We believe in a strong website because your front door is very important. We also utilize traditional media such as radio, and we use the traditional newspaper. So I try to hit every generation and every mode of communication so that we do not miss any single part or any part of our membership. But today we're going to focus on Facebook and Instagram. And then for those of you that have a better understanding of LinkedIn and Twitter, it would be great to chime in and give us some information on how do you utilize social media. So the Goshen Chamber of Commerce, one of the things that we do is part of our membership package is to offer the opportunity for members to join us via Facebook Live. How do we do that? A lot of times we have a lot of small businesses and not-for-profits, and they say to me, you know, I'm part of a chamber, I just don't have time. I'm busy running my business. I can't come to your networking breakfast. I can't come to your mixers in the evenings. It's impossible for me to leave my shop. And that got me thinking, how do we bring the membership to that member? How do we show them the value of that we provide as a chamber? And now, I'm not saying this is a tool or a way, a method that everyone should use, but if you can, this is the way we use it. I show up at a location, and I'm very improv. I don't really plan it ahead of time, except for that I know when I'm going over and what time. And they know that I'm coming over so they can prep their employees. And when I get there, I meet them really for the first time. And I get a tour of their location, and I start asking them questions, kind of like what you do when you first meet someone. Very basic questions. There are no hard-hitting questions. And we learn together. So the members that are on with me and other people are getting to experience this member through a different perspective. You get a behind-the-scenes look of the business. You get a behind-the-scenes look of the owner. The reason I think that it works for us, and I think it's important, is because we are in the business of making connections, human connections. And we keep saying shop local, support small, right? But if you don't have that emotional connection with these small businesses and for-profits, how true can that really be? So I feel that when I go into a business and I do a Facebook Live, you get to learn more about the owner, their passion, how long it took them to do this, their dream, why they do it. And you really start to understand the importance of the business. You make that emotional connection. And I feel that's what the Facebook Live does. I have a lot of fun doing it. I'm not gonna lie, it's an adventure every time. I really love meeting people. I'm a people person. And so it makes it very easy for me to do this. Now, I'm not saying that it's easy for everyone to do it, but you won't know until you try. If you follow my Facebook, you will see there are bloopers, there are mistakes. I stumble through my words sometimes. I sometimes forget where I am. That's the reality of live. Sometimes the camera starts getting all jittery. Sometimes I lose a connection. It's Facebook Live. Have fun with it. Doesn't have to be perfect. All it has to be is real. Keep it real, and people will connect with you, right? They will laugh with you. If I felt like somebody missed a blooper, I take a snippet of that and I put it on Instagram so that you can see I'm laughing at myself and I'm poking fun at what I'm doing, but I guarantee you're going to remember that business and you're going to want to go try it out. And a lot of times I get a lot of business owners that say to me and members that say to me, you know, people come in and they talk to me like they know me already. And they start asking me questions. There is no awkwardness. I will tell you that I recently did a Facebook Live where I was talking about sticky buns for the Oak and Reed, one of our newest members. And although Facebook Live, punished me for like 48 hours, the reality was when I met with Oak and Reed again, they sold out on their sticky buns 3 weekends in a row because people wanted to experience these sticky buns. And that's the power of Facebook Live. I think if you try to go there again on Friday, they still might be sold out because it's the first thing people are asking for. So that's how we use the Facebook Live for our membership. And a lot of our members, they reach out to me all the time. If you ask my assistant, Lisa, my calendar's full. And I make myself available to that. Like I said, it may not work the same way for everyone, but you won't know until you give it a try. Now with Instagram, what I do is, before I jump into Instagram, any questions on the Facebook, maybe give us some of your anecdotes, what your tries are, so that we just can move on to the next topic. But let's talk a little bit more on Facebook. So open floor, everyone chime in, tell us your thoughts.
I gotta say, Barbara, I sort of leverage your Facebook Live because you do it so well and you have the magnetic personality that whenever you go and do one of our mutual members, I usually just take that and share it on our page and say, look what Barbara did. So I'm loving your Facebook Lives.
That's a perfect use of resource, right?
Absolutely.
And that tells you something. For me, it talks about chamber connections, right? So instead of chambers working against each other, it shows that chambers, we work together very well to this, because at the end of the day, you're supporting your member, right? You're supporting the community. You're supporting the business. That's the bottom line. If we have mutual members, instead of saying, well, they're my member first because they're in my location, the reality is, of course, you have to show a level of respect. You know, we did a ribbon cutting together. And I said to Edison, you take the lead. This is Monroe. I'll be your backup chamber. and then when I got there, he's like, Barb, you do the ribbon.
You do it so much better than I do. Why would I not leverage your expertise? So one thing I have to say about Facebook, we do it a little bit differently than you do. I don't do any Facebook Lives. That's just a personal preference of mine. I do videos of whenever we do a ribbon cutting, I do an interview of our members, and I do afterwards put it together. I add an intro and an outro to the video so that we can brand our chamber, and then I upload that. It's a little bit more work, but we still get a lot of, and then we promote it, of course. We are big on spending a little bit of our ad budget to promote the video, and I just put it on there for our regular people to see it. That has gotten us a lot of feedback, a lot of great feedback, people commenting on it and just messaging us and asking questions. And our clients, our members, they love it. Although it's not live, and live does have a lot more impact, I believe. The way we're doing it is that way because we also put it on YouTube, and we also put it on our website, and we also put it on a whole bunch of different things. And although I love the YouTube Live and Facebook Live, they both have the same functionality. One of the things I'm not crazy about is the fact that if you shoot it through Facebook Live, for instance, is on Facebook Live, and that's proprietary to Facebook. You can embed it on your website if you want, which sometimes we do, but it's not my video. It no longer belongs to me. But when I shoot it with my phone, with camera, whatever I use, it's my video, and I syndicate it wherever I want. And as Rick can tell you, you can syndicate to like 50 different places online if you want, any videos. And that's one of the things that we're going to start doing. So we're just not on Facebook, although that's where most of the action is right now, Facebook. But you still want to be as many places as possible. So that's the way we use Facebook and video.
Edison, I have a question. When you say you do a Facebook Live, you no longer own that video. Uh, are you aware that you can actually download that video and have it owned on your local drive to be syndicated every place you want?
Yes, I totally understand that. But as Barbara mentioned at first, we don't know how long that's going to last. We don't know if Facebook is going to change that, tomorrow. And again, I'm not saying Facebook Live is evil or anything like that. I'm just saying our preference is to shoot it on my phone, so I have 100% control over it. That's all it is. But you're absolutely right. You could download pictures, you could download videos, you could download pretty much everything on there. I just like to add an intro and an outro to it. I know you could have an app that you can add an intro and outro on it, but I'm a desktop type person. I come here, I put it up, and then I upload it. But it's just a lot of fun that way for me.
No, I hear you.
Right? I tell people that all the time. They'll say, Barb, it's a lot of work. And I say, but it's a lot of fun. For me, it's a lot of fun. So usually when I do a Facebook Live, I follow it up with a watch party. I love that watch party, right? Yeah. So you get to capture people at a different time of the day. And you get to invite people. So while you're live, you can't really, you're going live, so you can tag people. But sometimes it's so much easier when you go into the watch party and you start just inviting everybody to start watching the watch party with you. Right. And then you can transfer that video, if you'd like, into your YouTube. I do embed it onto our website as well, so that you can watch it not only on our website, but you can watch it on our mobile app. But the truth is there is a lot of work behind it. So the reality is I learned by trial and error. You may have someone that can do it for you, can do it maybe a little faster for you. I know it takes me a little bit longer, but I truly enjoy doing it. So there is a lot of work behind the scenes. So you do the Facebook Live, right? But then when you go back to the office, it's best to do it from your desktop, to give it a title, to add closed caption, to maybe pick a different thumbnail picture, to reshare, so that to tag everyone that you have mentioned throughout your video, so that you can hopefully get over 1,000 views overnight. Because really, your live feed you would love people to watch with you at the same time, and that's great, but really you're going to get most of your views on your rebroadcast. And just always remember that. Don't feel discouraged if you only see 1 or 2 people watching your live. It's totally okay, because on your rebroadcast is when you'll get most of your people. And the best part is you can now share it also to your own page. You can share it to many other pages that you have if you choose to do that. And add different hashtags so that you can get more people watching. You can even boost it if that's what you want. I will say I have yet to boost any of our videos. I don't boost any of them. And I've got some that hit over 3,000 views. But that has a lot to do with your follow through, your tagging, your labeling, making sure you add things like the closed caption, so that you're ADA compliant and people can actually engage to it. So some of the things that I have learned with time, and also consider, you're not going to get, with the live, when you take a video, you have all the lighting and you have great, sound, and so you may not necessarily get that with Facebook Live, right? You're dealing with the elements. So if you're doing it outside, you're going to get wind, you're going to get cars, you're going to get, the sun in your face. There's going to be all those things. So I usually try to find locations so that I can have a better angle, although it won't always be that way. But the most important thing out of everything is making sure you have a good Wi-Fi connection. Nothing stinks worse than having garbled, pixelated video Facebook Live, because you will lose people. And nobody wants to see that. So, I've invested in getting a jetpack so that I can be Wi-Fi. I am a walking hotspot. So there are different tricks that you use, but if there's anything that I would say about Facebook Live is making sure that you always have a good Wi-Fi connection. Either get it from the location that you're at or get yourself, your own jetpack so that you can create a better Facebook Live video. Anyone else?
Barbara, I wanted to introduce you to Martina. She is with the Chamber of Commerce in Knightdale, North Carolina, that I just reconnected with. And she is not aware, because she just met you today for the first time, about what your story is and what an impact you've made at the Goshen Chamber. And the Knightdale Chamber was close to deciding if they were going to disband or retool. And they decided to retool. And Martina is one, you can see her smiling with the pride of what they've got going on so far, is just beaming out of those people. I mean, I was at the new member orientation last night with them, and the energy in that room was just electric. And so I'd love for you to be able to say hello and to meet Martina. Let her know a little bit about what you've been able to accomplish at the Goshen Chamber, so some of your mojo might rub off on her.
Hi, Martina. Welcome. And that's amazing. I'm so glad that you decided not to disband your Chamber of Commerce. Chambers of Commerce are so important for the local businesses and for the not-for-profits. I can tell you, between Edison and myself, Edison's Chamber of Commerce of Greater Monroe, they're operating with part-timers, right? Edison's like a volunteer.
We're all volunteers. There are no paid employees. The only person that's paid is on commission, and that's our director of membership person. That's the only person. Everyone else, we're all volunteers. Yeah,
so each chamber has a different type of struggle. When you have a chamber that's working of strictly volunteers, they're sometimes limited on the time and the resources that they have in order to do the work of a chamber. And that's something that, like the Goshen Chamber, I understand, and I learned right away that I am actually a full-time executive director of this chamber, and I have a full-time assistant. So I can do a lot of the things that maybe the Greater Monroe Chamber can't do. And that's why it's important for a chamber like mine to hook up with a chamber like his, because we can provide resources for each other. So one of the first things that I want to say to you, congratulations on having your chamber, be brought back to life. But I will also say to you, as a chamber, you can't work alone. Reach out to your chambers around you, specifically those other small chambers, because you may have resources that they don't, and they might have resources that you don't. And really piggyback off of each other so that you can be a success, because ultimately it really has to do with the local businesses and the not-for-profits. Nothing to do with the chamber. We are just the foundation, right, that these businesses are going to thrive on. So again, part of this chamber of leaders is so that we can provide this information to each other, maybe give each other some advice. My chamber, I took over in February, and they have been through 3 different executive directors. They couldn't keep their executive director. And they finally approached me, not because I had any experience in being an executive director of a chamber, but because what they saw me doing on Facebook. They saw how I was on my own time visiting businesses, just because it's fun for me. And they really enjoyed that. And they wanted that to be applied to this chamber. So find your niche, right? Find what you are really good at. And that's the value that you're going to put out to your members. You're going to say all chambers are equal, but this is what we are good at. And this is the value that we're bringing. So look at your membership benefits, revamp it. Don't be afraid to make those changes and say, we're going to remove this doesn't work, and we're going to add this, and we're going to try it. and listen to your membership. They're going to tell you what it is that they're looking for. Try, and I know this is hard for maybe part-time chambers. Edison, you can attest to this. Try not to be a cookie cutter chamber. Try not to give every single member the same exact thing. Each business is very different, and they all need something very different. So try to tailor yourself within reason and be flexible as to what you can offer. Some members may really love coming on the radio. Some members may say, you know, I really don't care about the radio, but I really want to network. So find ways to approach each member individually so that they can feel special and they don't feel like you're just throwing them into a category within your membership.
Yes. Can I add to that,
Yes.
Martina? One of the first things that I did when I became president a couple of years ago, I think I'm on my third term now. Third year, not term, third year. One of the first things we did was we needed more cash because it was a small chamber that didn't have much of any resources at all. So we came up with sponsorship levels. The small chamber never had anything. Like, they just collected $125 for the membership, and that was it. There was no sponsorship level, so I created a few more levels: $350, $750, $1,000, and $1,500. For a small chamber, those are good numbers. For a bigger chamber, they can ask for a lot more money. But since we had such a small membership, when I took over, we cleaned out our books, which I'm sure you're starting to do that if you haven't done so yet. Cleaned out our books. We found out that we only had 32 paying members, which was amazing to me because they told me we had 142 members. So 32 paying members. And that was a little over 2 years ago. Now we're up to 121 members. All right. So most importantly, the membership is not just double, triple, or whatever it is now, but the most important part is that we have 8 gold sponsors at about $350 each. We have 2 gold sponsors at about $1,000 each, and we have a couple of silver sponsors in there. So we have a much healthier bottom line now. We have a couple of more $1,000 in the bank than we had when we first started, which now allows us to give back to the community, allows us to give back to our sponsors, and allows us to do a lot of things that we couldn't do before. Case in point, we created 2 different ways, 2 different traditional and non-traditional ways to advertise our sponsors. Because we're nice to all of our members, we're good to all our members. We give them a forum for them to network with each other and go online and advertise and everything. But most importantly, now with the sponsors, we're giving them extra things. If you go to our website, gmcoc.com, that's Greater Monroe Chamber of Commerce, but that's gmcoc.com, you'll see all of our sponsorship levels and what we're giving everyone. You can copy it right from there if you want. You're in North Carolina, so more power to you. Copy it verbatim. We came up with I'm looking for a newsletter, but we came up with a simple newsletter, an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper that we print on a laser printer, folded in half, and we hand it out to the local area, Monroe, Harriman, and sometimes Chester, depending on how many we create. And that little piece of newsletter that it looks, it's cute. It's nothing fantastic, but that gets people going on our website and signing up just as a sponsor or anything else because they want to see their ad in that little newsletter that we distribute. And we only distribute about 500 of those things. So it's not like we do a lot of them. We did a calendar this year and we put all our sponsors in there. One of my clients was advertising, trying to raise money to build a calendar. We put it together for them, so we advertised in there. We did a shopping bag, not as cool as Barbara's. Barbara has a really cool one, but we have one that in New York State, I don't know if it's the same there, but all paper bags, I think federally now, all plastic bags are going to be outlawed. And see, that's her swag bag right there. We have a ghetto version of that bag, if you like. But our budget allowed us to put all of our advertisers on there, and now when we distribute these bags, it's like on the bag itself, and it only costs us like $1.15 or $1.20 per bag, and they'll get maybe 5 or 10 or maybe 20 uses out of it. It's not as durable as the one that Barbara has, but again, we took the money from our corporate sponsors and we gave it right back to the community. So they're looking for things outside of the box like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what you're referring to, Barbara.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, every little bit that you can do help. And Edison, I want to talk to you offline about helping me with the sponsor levels, because see, that's my weak point, right? So I recognize that's something that I need more help with. But you know, utilize all the resources that you have and just get creative with it. And you will learn, you have to just listen to what your membership is asking you for. And that's how you build your reputation. Like Edison, we were told that our membership was about 300. And when I took over, it was 160. So, and that is like takes the wind right out of your sails, right? Because you're thinking it's one thing and something completely different. Right. I'm glad to say that we are over 300 now, which is amazing. But again, it's really trying to build something that, you know, it's a lot of work. So don't get discouraged, and really be different and make your chamber work for you, and you and your chamber work for your members.
Absolutely. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate that. I'm really excited about everything, like Scott said, that the chamber is doing. I'm excited to, you know, for our relaunch and everywhere we're going. I'm sitting here just jotting down notes left and right to take back to the next ambassadors meeting. This is some really good information. I'm sure they'll be excited to receive it. So thank you all again.
Mm-hmm. Please also think about your ambassadors. Our ambassadors are, I think, the backbone of what we do. A lot of times ambassadors are neglected in chambers. I make sure that my ambassadors have their own landing page on our website. I welcome you to go check them out. They each got 2 minutes to talk about their business and why they're part of the chamber. And they have a lot of pride in what they do, because we really utilize them for the chamber. Because the reality is, it's only me and Lisa, and there's no way we can run that many members without the support of our ambassadors. So our ambassadors are like the next level for us in the hierarchy of how we run our chamber. And they are your voice out there. So make sure you take care of your ambassadors, because they're doing a lot of the boots to the ground work for you.
Barbara, may I have your web address? I did receive Edison's as gmclc.com.
Yes, mine is GoshenNYChamber.com.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
Right, guys, so we talked a little bit about Facebook and utilizing that as one of your tools. Let's jump quickly into Instagram. Instagram is really caters to a different generation. They usually say Facebook is for the old people, and that Instagram is for the newer, hippier. Don't quote me, because I'm going to really make myself old here. It's for the younger generation, right? So they really want you to be very artsy in how you post these pictures, and they don't want you to put long stories, and they don't want you to put too many hashtags, and there's so many rules on how to use Instagram. So what I do is there is no real rhyme or reason for my Instagram at all. I break all the rules when it comes to Instagram, but people are still following anyway, right? And the reason that is because members love to see themselves. And so I make sure that I highlight them on our Instagram, and I share their pictures into our Instagram story all the time. So if you click on our story, you're going to see a bunch of our members posts. And I love when they then send me, hearts or a thumbs up or a clap, because they're happy to see that we shared their information. And then within our Instagram pictures, you'll see a lot of our members that visit us here at the chamber and put on our funky glasses or, do something silly. We try to really just make fun of what we do. We don't want to be seen as the stuffy, suit and tie chamber. We want people to have fun with us. Just recently, Edison came to our Health, Wellness, and Fitness Expo and did the cha-cha slide with us. And that's how we ended our expo. And I posted that on Instagram, and people just love it. They love to see what they think Chambers to be an old man's organization. They love to see that we are having fun with it, and it is an organization for everybody. A lot of the younger generation are not understanding what a Chamber of Commerce is. And I think it is important for us to remind them that they can network anywhere. They can go to the PNP and the BNIs and the HV, whatever. They can do all of that, and that's great. We do that too, but with a chamber, you have more access. And we got to remind them of those things. Now, I go to these BNIs and I go to the PMPs. I attend those. I think they're very important. They bring a lot of value to not only your members, but the chamber. But with Instagram, I do have a lot of fun with that. So I am not very well versed with Instagram TV. I am trying to learn more about that. I have to ask my 12-year-old son to teach me. But aside from that, if you do know how to use Instagram TV, that's also a very powerful tool that you can use that is still free, that you can use for your members. In the meantime, what I do is I take a snippet of our Facebook Live, which I save onto my phone, and I then take a snippet of that, I splice it, trim it, and put it into the Instagram. And that's how I really utilize Instagram to try to drive people to the Facebook to see the full video. Any questions?
I'd like to ask kind of some cross questions here for a minute, because social media, as you say, it's never ever the same anytime you go live or something like that. My question is to Edison. Edison, what's the most unusual situation that you've encountered when you've been out with your Facebook and doing maybe a live or something like that? What comes to mind as kind of an interesting situation that occurred?
I don't do too many Facebook Lives, as I explained before. For that same reason, you get unusual situations sometimes. I'm trying to remember one, maybe a couple of years ago. When people photobomb you in the background, right? It's not cool when they do that in video and they say things that are not nice. And someone did that with one of their competitors, and I didn't even notice. So that didn't go over too well. So I had to take everything down. So it did not work too well for me. It doesn't mean it's not gonna happen all the time. I'm just, I guess, a little bit more cautious now. That's why I record and then I have more control if I record and put it online. Another time, actually, I'm remembering now, I was at a restaurant and interviewing one of our members, and in the background, a guy was scratching his back, and he lifted his shirt up and pulled his pants down, and I didn't catch it as I was watching the person I was interviewing, and it wasn't live, thank goodness, because when I went to do the intro and the outro of the video, I saw this guy's. Anyways, it was not cool. So if it had been live, that would have been a whole other conversation there. And maybe it'll be fun to have done things like that, Barbara, but maybe not. I don't know. So I hope that answered your question.
Yeah, I would have totally used it.
I'm not Instagram story.
I'm not risky like that.
Barbara, that's an Instagram story right there.
I would turn that into a raffle, tell me what you saw. First person to answer,
I did.
Bummer to answer. It's a breakfast with the chamber.
That was over at Wayback Burgers there in Monroe. And I felt so bad. I was trying to crop the guy out, and I managed to crop him out, and you can still see the video there, but it's I'm sorry, Barbara. I'm not as brave as you are.
So recently,
I like that he said it was just not cool. Not cool.
It's not.
Priceless.
It's true. There are a couple of things that I have learned while doing many years of Facebook Live. Now, I've been doing Facebook Live since they allowed Facebook Live to start, right? It was one of those like, oh, wait, hold on a minute. We can do this now? So I've been doing it since the very beginning, and I've learned a lot of things. But recently, sometimes you're still going to make mistakes, and you'll have to take the Facebook Live down. So one of the ones that I recently experienced was I went to a bank, and I did the video, and I neglected to identify the cameras. So sometimes because of security, you have to be aware of your surroundings. And I saw the video, and then I saw all of the cameras and the placement of the cameras. And I mentioned it to the bank, and they said, yeah, you know, I said, I'm going to take it down because I don't want to, it's a security risk. So we took the video down, and we tried to splice it, and they tried to like really crop it. We couldn't use the video, which was okay. But when I did the video at their second location, we were more cognizant of the cameras. I also did a Facebook Live at a medical facility, and everything was going great. I paid attention to cameras. I paid attention that there weren't any children, because that's another thing that you have to make sure that you can't Facebook Live with children unless you have strict permission from the families there, or letting them know that you're there. But also be considerate in letting people know that you're Facebook Living, just so that they are not caught off guard. But we did all of that, and there was one computer screen that had patient information. And although it came by quickly, right, as I'm looking through the Facebook Live, I noticed it. So I called them and I said, I have to take it down, and they said, thank you so much. There's things that you learn, so yeah, sometimes Facebook Live kind of works against you, and you have to do a do-over, and a do-over is never the best because it's not as natural as the first time. So you kind of miss that moment and opportunity, but there are things that you will learn as you're doing it. You're going to make mistakes. You're never going to be able to cover all your bases, but that's why it's important to go back and look at your rebroadcasts. It's important to go back and watch the video yourself. And and I do it immediately now. I know I used to wait till I got back to the office to watch it, but most of the time I go back to my car and I watch it. And if I notice that something is a little off for whatever reason, I take it down. I've saved it. It's on my phone, so always save. But I take it down from the post, because you also have to keep in mind it's important about, HIPAA laws or the security of your members or the reputation of your members. So yes, it's live, but you also have to make sure that you as a chamber are responsible in how you're using it. Now,
Right.
recently I spoke to Sarah Stahl, and she was talking about Twitter chat. Do you guys know about Twitter chat?
I never did understand what she was talking about, really.
So I started a Twitter account, right? And I tried to build this Twitter chat. And I guess it's, first of all, you got to get your membership to sign on to the whole Twitter movement. That's really hard. Like, I don't know how many members, I forgot to ask her how many she had, but it was difficult. I'm going to try it. And it's a way of creating a forum like this where your members can chat with you via Twitter. And really, so you put up a topic of discussion, let's say social media, how do you use it, or your website as your front door, or how do you utilize networking much better, whatever the topic is, you start that Twitter conversation. But the chat is only between you and your membership. So there's a lot that goes to building this Twitter chat. I was kind of hoping Sarah would be on to kind of walk us through it, but I will give you guys an update if I can figure out this Twitter chat. I think it's a good use of social media. You get conversations started with your members. Maybe they are on and they can just kind of bounce ideas from each other. But I would say, like with anything, it does take time to build these kinds of things. So you also have to say, what is the nice to have and what is the have to have? Right now, Twitter chat for me seems like a nice to have. So I'm taking my time in building that, but I don't think it's really a have to have. I think we have a strong Facebook and Instagram presence. So I'm gonna really focus on that. And really our website is what my focus is on. So I think as chambers, look at all the resources and then say to yourself, what is my have to have and what is my nice to have? And just create those buckets for yourself, because there's no way that you would as a chamber be able to do it all unless you have a dedicated marketing social media person within your chamber that is all that they do. For my chamber, I'm the executive director / marketing person / media person, you know, so there's one of those, I have to really find that balance of getting it all done and still do justice for my members and market their business.
Barbara, I have a question going back to your Instagram account. Maybe old school, and this may be one of those stupid questions, but what does HV stand for in where in the HV is Barbara Martinez?
Hudson Valley.
Oh, okay. I spent about an hour using every acronym, going online and looking up. There is slang for HV. Thank you so much.
It used to be where in Orange County is Barbara Martinez, but as I got invited to places outside of Orange County, I changed it to where in the Hudson Valley is Barbara Martinez. So now it's where in the HV is Barbara Martinez. But now that I'm thinking about Edison's website, GMCOC, I'm thinking I should have said GCOC and called it a day. GoshenNYChamber.com. Oh.
It's easier to type.
It is.
I want to ask Martina a question, or make a statement. Actually, I'm sorry. That one is the fact that if you really want to supercharge in a rapid way, I really encourage you to take a look at Barbara's Facebook page for the Chamber of Commerce and just go down through it. And just that experience alone will show you the way that she grew her chamber. She's in, what is it now, Barbara? 8 months, maybe 6 months, 8 months that you've actually been executive director, something like that. But virtually double the size. Okay, gotcha. Double the size of her chamber in that period of time because of the techniques that you will see on her Facebook page. And if you want to scare your community with excitement, try some of those tools on that you'll see on her Facebook page. I definitely encourage that. And it's very good to have you today on our Chamber Leaders Mastermind. We do meet every second Tuesday. The second Tuesday and fourth Tuesdays of every month. We'll have October, and but November and December we do take those 2 months off because of all the holidays and so forth. Sorry, I went on too long there. Go ahead, Barbara.
First and third Tuesday or second and third? I'm confused now. I think
second
it's first and third.
Second and fourth.
Oh, second and fourth. Ugh. I've been saying the wrong thing all along.
I remember earlier, I was like, second and fourth? Wait a minute. I thought they said first and third. Okay, go back.
Second and fourth. Sorry, guys. So there's so much more social media that you can use. I know there is LinkedIn. The LinkedIn is more on a professional level, and I think I am not very well versed with LinkedIn, to be honest. I do have a LinkedIn account, and I get yelled at all the time because it's so outdated. I will say that I don't use it for the Goshen Chamber of Commerce. like I mentioned before, I identify what we're strong in, and when I start seeing that maybe we'll plateau, maybe I'll discover or try to work on different things. But right now, if it's not broken, I'm not going to try to continue to fix it, because I do want to focus on also promoting our members and continuing to bring great programming and put together networking and breakfasts. So I think we found a pretty decent balance right now. So for the Goshen Chamber of Commerce, my next step was reaching out across the table to my fellow, I like to call them sister chambers. I am sorry if I'm making them female, but my sister, sorry, Edison, to see if we can really band together and work together for the overall health of the small businesses and the local not-for-profits. So like Chris mentioned, it is the first, second, and fourth Tuesday of the month. Please go onto the website, chamberleadersmastermind.com, to learn more about what we're doing, maybe see some past interviews that we have had, and maybe even suggest future topics that we can talk about, and then maybe even discuss future roundtables that we can bounce ideas from each other. If you want to be interviewed, reach out to Chris, and he'll put you on the timeline. If you know people that should be interviewed that made an impact and maybe assisted your chamber, let Chris know, and I'm sure we can put them in the rotation. But in the meantime, make sure to follow on Facebook, share our videos, check out our website, and always remember that the forum and the interviews is so that we can not only support, promote, and bring value to our members, but it is also important to support, promote, and bring value to each other. So with that, I want to say thank you to everyone for signing on. I know we all have a busy schedule. Invite more people for the next one. What do you say, Chris?
Well, that sounds like an excellent idea to me. Just want everyone to know that October the 8th, the second Tuesday of October, our guest is going to be Barry Bondi, and he is the president of the Lake Conroe Chamber of Commerce in Texas. And he's been in the business about 30 years and has some extremely innovative ideas that he's helped grow his chamber with over the years. So I hope you join us for that, because I know that'll be extremely interesting to hear from a true veteran of the Chamber of Commerce area.
Yeah. I want to say thank you to Edison from the Greater Monroe Chamber of Commerce for joining us today. Martina, good luck and congratulations, and we'll be rooting for you, and make sure to reach out, and we will be happy to support and try to help you come along with your membership. Scott Powell, thank you. Ray Macara, I hope I said that correctly. Thank you so much for signing on. Rick Scherer, and of course,
a question?
Sure.
So I know everybody wants to get going here, and I apologize for getting on late. I was dealing with some family issues, but Barbara, you had mentioned earlier about social media being quote unquote younger generation thing. I was wondering if you or any of the other folks involved in the chambers have made an attempt to reach out to the younger generation to engage in social media and also the chamber activities. And by the younger generation specifically, I was thinking while you were talking about it, local colleges that maybe have a branch campus of a major college or something like that, or even community colleges in your chamber's area. I'm sure that they have young entrepreneur groups in those colleges, and maybe reaching out to them to get the whole group to maybe be a member of your chamber and get them involved. Then when they're done with their college, they may be more accepting to becoming members of the chamber and contributing to social media and things like that. Have you guys given any consideration to that?
So I will tell you, this is a great question. So several things with the Goshen Chamber of Commerce. I visit periodically. I'm invited to be a speaker at the different high schools. I got to speak before the Goshen high school students to talk about, first of all, telling them what a chamber is, and talk about what we do as an initiative, and offering them internship during the summer to come help support the chamber and learn more about us. So get that hands-on experience in the community exposure to put it on their resume. And also as a chamber, how we can help them with their how to dress to impress, how to prepare for interviews, and how to approach businesses and companies, and telling them kind of an inside look at what these businesses are and what they're looking for. So the chamber is really kind of, this chamber, our chamber, is kind of working as like an employment resource for these high school students. I recently got contacted by the youth and government in the Middletown School District. They're looking for the same thing. And I recently connected a couple of financial institutions as well as a internship program for our Orange Regional Medical Facility to come in and bring programming to the high schools so that they can get interns as well. I have a very strong connection with SUNY Orange. So we have a couple of interns that work here in our office that are part of the business major program. And so we give them a little bit of a background on what they do, but they also are not just interns that come to our office. They attend our networking events. They help us for our community initiatives, and they get to speak at our breakfast so they can talk about what they're looking to do in their future. And then most recently, I have been invited to be part of a brand new networking hub called the Orange County Networking Hub, created of all young professionals. So their first meeting is going to be the end of this month, and they are joining as a group to the Goshen Chamber of Commerce so that we can network together. It gives me an opportunity as a chamber to come before all of these young professionals to talk about the value of the chamber and how and why they should be a part of that for their business. So there are a lot of different ways that we do outreach as a Goshen Chamber to really involve the younger generation. I strongly believe in visiting the high schools and the colleges, and we have been doing that. I don't know where I found the time to do it, but somehow we're managing it. And we're getting a lot of kids that come in and they ask questions now. So I think the more we do that, the more connected they will be in knowing the importance of what a chamber does for a community. Edison, do you have?
With this particular chamber, we don't. We used to have, well, we're still affiliated with SCORE that helps individuals start a business. Anyone over the age of 14 that wants to start a business, we help them answer any question whatsoever, and we have volunteers that do that. But as far as I've been involved with BOCES in the past, where we help individuals, just like Barbara said, you know, with resume writing or interviewing for jobs, positions, and things of that nature. This chamber at this point right now, we used to do that a lot with the larger chamber I was involved with, but at this chamber, we're a little too small for that. Maybe not small, but it's a time issue. We concentrate on the things that we know will have the biggest impact. And yes, we do need the younger generation to start learning more about chambers, because Barbara's right, that's something that all chambers need to do. We don't want people thinking that, like in the past, people always thought chambers were for all white people who are all stuffy with a tie and suit and all this and that. So, you know, that's been changing a little, although we still have that in my chamber. I guess I'm the younger, I guess I'm the youngest person there. That's not a good thing. Jeez. But we don't really participate too much with the younger generation. We don't even have an Instagram account for the chamber. I have one for myself and for some of my clients, but not for the chamber. We're not actively searching for that, although that's going to probably be one of the things we do within the next year or two. But right now we're having too much fun with our, you know, getting all these new members who need us right now, and they're looking for help, and we're giving it to them.
Ray, I think when you signed on, you may have missed the part where the Greater Monroe Chamber of Commerce is all volunteers. Whereas the Goshen Chamber of Commerce, we are full-time employees here. So the resources are a little bit different, and the time is a little bit different. That is why I think it's important for chambers like mine that has a full-time employees and staff to be the support of chambers like Edison's that has volunteers. So, you know, I like to say that we will team up as individual chambers, but together to really educate the younger generation and work. You know, I'm sure that Edison, you know, with time, he may not be able to do it with his chamber, but I know that if we have our meeting with the Orange County Networking Hub, that if I tap him on the shoulder and say, hey Edison, come with me, we're going to this networking event, and, you know, that'll be a way to represent the Greater Monroe Chamber via the program that's being offered. So I think it's a matter of really tag teaming so that we can continue to get the word out to the younger generation. So.
Absolutely.
All right, guys, it's been an hour. I don't want to keep you any longer. I want to say thank you so much for hanging out with us. I think this was a great roundtable, and I look forward to seeing you in 2 weeks, the second Tuesday of the month. Again, make sure to check out our website at chamberleadersmastermind.com and follow on Facebook. And if you want to follow the Goshen Chamber of Commerce, maybe get the idea of GoshenNYChamber.com. That's Rick. He's making noise. Go to GoshenNYChamber.com for more information. Follow us on Facebook. I'm sure you have a few laughs at my expense, and that's okay. All right, everybody. Have a good rest of the week. Talk to you soon.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Barbara. Great job.
As usual.